Okay, welcome back. Now that we have our paths completely identified, again, by looking at each if condition and identifying the true and the false in that path, it's just that simple. What we can do now is go ahead and start creating our test cases. All right. Up to now, we basically had one test case, and really, I kind of told you guys to use two test cases to make sure things were accumulating. But for the most part, that's what we were doing. We were making sure at least each path worked. In this case, when we had one path, we did that. And using the same test case, you could probably look at again and run that again to make sure it accumulated. We kind of did that when we were talking about class level variables. In this case, it's going to be a little bit different. Our goal is we need to make sure we test every path. So now we got to create a test case to actually be able to do that, or test cases to be able to do that. We can't test every path with one test case. It's impossible. And so what we can do is we start off with a very first test case. It kind of just gets started somewhere. And so in this case, we'll start off with $10,000. We'll have a trade-in of $1,000. That'll be, as a matter of fact, let's do a trade-in of $5,000. Okay. And whoops, there we go. And then what we're going to do, we got a sound system, all right, and we either say yes or no to this sound system. We'll go ahead and go all crazy here, and we'll have yes to each sound system, okay? And we'll say our pearlized will be standard in this case, all right? So the goal is that what will the AF price actually be, okay? So the AF price should be, if we were going to get all three things, $2,000. Don't you agree? And in the standard, we're doing standard, so there won't be any addition to the AF price. So we're going to get these three things. So if our program worked, basically our AF price should be $2,000. Our tax is going to be $12,000, so 8% of 12. Oh God, what is that? 8% of 12, 9,208. All right, hold on. I should probably stop the whole video, but I'm going to go ahead and do math on my phone here. So $12,000 times 0.08 is 960, exactly what I just said a second ago. All right, so now my subtotal should be 12,960. We have a $5,000 trade-in, and so that will take us down to 7,960. That is my expected results walking through this. And again, what I can actually do is walk through it and say, yeah, I wanted that, I wanted that, I wanted that. Looks like my if condition should work if I said I wanted that. So that would be $2,000. If I wanted pearlized, I don't. Okay, do I want custom? I don't. So I'm not going to add anything for my finish. So my AF price is, in this case, $2,000. Perfect. My tax, I'm going to take my base plus my AF price, which is what I did, and it came up with 960. My subtotal, I'm going to add my base price all the way through, $1,290. I subtract my trade-in, and that's my amount due. It looks like it works. That's cool. Now, the fun thing is what we need to do is say, okay, well, what did we just test? What pass did we just test? Well, what I would do is walk through my code again and identify, based upon this set of inputs, what pass I tested. Well, I tested the true side of the sound system. So I did number 1. I tested the leather true side, so I did number 3. I tested the navigation in this case, and so it's number 5. That's cool. I tested the, let's see, the pearlized. So I didn't test this one, but I tested the false side. So I tested number 8. And I didn't pick finish. I had standard, so I actually tested number 10, the false side of this. Does that make sense? So if we walk through here, how my code would have done is, yes, I wanted sound system. Yes, I wanted leather. Yes, I wanted navigation. I did not want pearlized, so I went to the else side. And I did not want custom, so I went to the false side down here, number 10. So thus, my logic worked, and I tested 1, 3, 5, 8, and 9. So, I'm sorry, 8 and 10, I should say. So what I can do here, for sake of just simplicity, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate these. Or you could put an X room or whatever you guys want to do. Okay, and what I'm trying to do here is look at this and say, all right, what do I have left? So I created a test case that worked, that tested these paths. This leaves me with these paths left. So now I got to create another test case, okay? And so I'm just going to copy this one. And we'll go down here and say, okay, I need to do another one here, okay? I'm going to bring this up so we have it. Nothing really ever works when you're trying to do a video. Okay, and so let's see, let's bring this puppy up here, that pass, there we go. And I'm going to change my test cases up a little bit to ensure that I test the other ones. Now I can do that pretty quickly. I can say I don't want leather, I don't want navigation, and I don't want leather, stereo, leather, and navigation. And I'll go ahead and I will set my finish now needs to be something different than standard. So I'll say I want pearlized. Okay. I can keep my base price and my trade-in all in there, and it all works out. So what should this be? So in this case here, my AF price is going to be 000, but it's going to be $500 for my pearlized. So I can say my base price, so my AF price should be $500 is my expected result for this particular test case. This would be called test case 2, by the way. Now I got, let's see, $1,500. I'm not even going to try to do it in my head. I'm going to say $10,500 is my base price plus my AF price times 0.08 equals $840 is my tax. Maybe I should make the tax 10%. Life would be a lot easier, correct? At least for me during these videos. And so 840 plus 500 plus 10,000. Yep, I am using a calculator. Is 11,340. Okay, minus the $5,000 for my trade-in, it'd be $6,340. We would say, yeah, that's what, if I walk through this, it looks like I don't add anything here, I don't add anything here, don't add anything here. That's perfect. I'd say I want to pearlize, perfect, $500 falls out, and everything else, this looks good. Now I go back in and say, okay, I got 2 test cases. What did I test? Well, I tested the false side here, the false side here, the false side here. Meaning I tested 2, 4, 6. I tested the true side. I think I got rid of 1. I should have got rid of 8. Okay, this was 7 right here. Apologize for that. I got rid of the wrong one. I should have got rid of 8 before. There you go. And so I had 7 here. I'm testing that also, the true side of pearlized, right? And that's the last thing. So I can erase those now. And let's see if I do this carefully and not mess anything up. There you go. That's easy. There you go. And as you see, that leaves 9. So I tested every path with these first 2 cases. It has always dawned on me, even the most complex database, or I'm sorry, complex program, and you'll see a lot of those, that I could pretty much test everything with really a handful of test cases. Meaning if I put my data in and I set this up intelligently enough, usually only a handful of test cases will test every path in your program. But so you might look at this and goes, well, that's pretty simple. Well, it is, but again, it's also simple to overlook something. Maybe you did do both of these, and all of a sudden we never tested 9, right? That's what this is for you to look at and ensure that we're testing every path. And the fact that I can look at test case 1 and say, I tested these paths, and then be intelligent, well, okay, I'll turn those off, and I'll create data to test other paths and then label those. I can basically get through this pretty easily. So I have 2 of them. But I still have 1 more path to test. And you keep building these test cases until all paths have been exhausted. So we'll do test case 3. I can go ahead and keep everything here, and the only thing I really need to do is change my finish to custom, right? And so I can actually keep all my input the same. In this case, I'll have Y. Let's make this a little bit easier. I'm going to have N on this one. Okay, so we don't have to add them all up. And what's kind of cool is once you test the path, you don't need to test it again. Now we're going to get to here, but it works. It will always work. We don't need to go pound on the same test case. We don't even need to combine these things, like make this Y, make this N, and so on, because they're mutually exclusive over here. We tested both sides. So I don't even need to test combinations. it will work. I promise you, it will always work if you meet the expected result of the test case. So in this case here, we got test case 3. I'm going to keep my numbers there. I'm going to change this to custom. My expected result in this case, my custom, it should be 750. But I didn't have anything else I wanted, so that should be 750. Oh, back to my calculator again. And so we had 10,750 times 0.08 is my tax. That should be 860. Okay. Plus 750 plus $10,000 is 11,000. In this case, 11,610, and $5,000 off of that should be 610. And there you go, $7,610. In this case, we sit back and say, okay, what pass did we test? I can sit back and label all those old ones again, but I can, in this case, we made sure we tested path 9. And so by these 3 test cases and exhausting all the paths, I know my program 100% works. Now, what I would do with this, once again, I probably walk through here and make sure I got everything correct. Or what you might want to do, once again, is give this test case to a friend, a partner, a parent, whatever, okay, and say, hey, look at this, look at my pseudocode, and walk through this test case and tell me what results you get. Make sure your logic works, because if your logic works, we're going to take this logic, as you very well know now, and apply it to the program and write the program with it. Then what we'll do, as we said in this final piece right here, is we test our logic, we write our program, and we'll take those same test conditions and use them once our program is finished. And once our program is finished, if we pound in these inputs and get these expected results, we're good. Then we go to the next one, put these inputs in, and we get these expected results, we're good. And then finally the last one, if we get these expected results, we're good. Here's the key here. If all of a sudden we don't get these expected results, we probably have, because we know our logic's good, we have some type of logical error in our program. And we need to go in and find what the problem is, okay? If we go in and we debug our program, and we'll talk about debugging a little bit next week, debug our program and find where the error is at in our logic, we should go ahead and fix that. Then what we would do is go back once again and apply this test case, and then this test case, and then this test case. What you want to do, because you go in and you change your program around, you want to make sure you didn't make any other mistakes that maybe didn't hurt this test case. That makes sense? Meaning if you go into your program, fix something, go back and run all your test cases again. No matter what you fix, run all your test cases again and make sure you didn't mess anything else up. Okay, and with that, if you end up with the expected results that you have here, you're golden and you're done with your program. It will always work 100% of the time. That's my little secret to test cases. Can test cases get a little bit more complicated? They kind of can, but we're not going to go too deep into this. But I will tell you that by doing what we just did, I can assure you, even though I'd be saying your programs don't work 100% of the time, probably 99.99999% of the time. There is that one little thing, other little things we add to test cases when we turn into professionals to ensure that 100%. But right now, if you can at least accomplish this, we have succeeded quite a bit to ensure our programs are most of the time going to be right. Okay, when I say most of the time, 99.9999% of the time. And so I don't want you to worry about that other little 1% right now. Let's keep this simple. All right. So what I want you guys to do is take a look at this and then start applying this when we start writing test cases as part of your design. This is how you would do it, and this is the process. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, go back and listen to these videos one more time. It's fairly simple and actually not very complicated to ensure that your program is a good one.